Baker Mayfield caught a stray from C.J. Gardner-Johnson of Detroit Lions. Now, I don't know who he was specifying, but he says that besides that Tampa group, they got a good group here, talking about Tampa. So I really didn't understand that part of the quote. Said that they got a good receiver group, Russell Gage, Mike Evans, Chris Goodwin. He said, he said if they had a real good quarterback if they had a good quarterback, they'd be even more dangerous. I'm paraphrasing that last part. Baker Mayfield responded and said he probably think he's talking about preseason because Russell Gage hadn't played all year. You got to remember too, Gardner-Johnson wasn't in that first meeting. He didn't play in that first meeting. So, Baker Mayfield is somebody that runs on, fuel. I mean, obviously he runs on the fuel of doubt, the fuel of critics. So I don't really think you want to light a fire under Baker Mayfield. Feisty guy. Last time, they did a good job in Tampa. There were some plays that went our way that could, they completed a couple passes. Could have easily been a more competitive game. Most people thinking, well, Baker coming to Detroit this time, and this is an easy win. I keep telling y'all, man, nothing is easy in the playoffs. Nothing is easy with this team. I mean, I just don't really get Detroit fans, man. I don't. You go through all this turmoil and all this pain and stuff, and y'all think shit is gonna be easy. This ain't the regular season. The 8-9 Bucs got a very championship experienced team outside of Baker Mayfield. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Devin White, Levante David, Vita Vea, William Golston from Cass Tech, Detroit. You know what I'm saying? I think Antoine Winfield Jr. might have been on that championship team too. I could be wrong on that. So y'all going around and think, oh, we beat them earlier this season, this time, man, it ain't never easy. Stop thinking like, oh, it's easy. It's not. Maybe Gardner-Johnson trying to get under his skin a little bit, but he wasn't part of that first meeting. I mean, he mentioned a player that wasn't even, on the team. That's been injured all year, Russell Gage. I don't think Russell Gage took that many snaps with him since he's been there from Atlanta. So, but so be it. But Gardner-Johnson like to play head games, and maybe he might try to get Baker riled up and get him off his game a little bit. The crowd gonna be loud, you know what I'm saying? And the Lions are almost a touchdown favorite, 6.5-point favorites right now. That line will move probably a little bit. You got people that believe in the underdogs, probably gonna get closer and closer unless something happen on the injury report Tampa way. Tampa don't have one person on the injury report. Mike Evans a dog. He don't do the same thing Nakua do, but he does other great things like get down the field and catch big plays, and they can get out of hand real quick. The white running back, he pretty good, and Baker pretty good quarterback. Cleveland just might be a Bermuda Triangle for quarterbacks. He's playing really, really well this season. And he was banged up versus Philadelphia. There's a lot of talk about Jalen being banged up. And I like Baker Mayfield. Oh, I said this today, man, at work. I like Baker Mayfield, when he was at Oklahoma, rooted for him in the league, especially when he waved the Oklahoma flag and planted it in the middle of the Ohio State field. He had a fan in me. He had a fan in me. So, yeah. He had a fan in me. But, but nonetheless, maybe Gardner-Johnson, he talk a lot. I mean, you got to remember, too, he made reservations to play the 49ers. Remember, he engaged in trash talk with Debo Samuels. People forget about that little beef, and obviously if they meet in the NFC Championship, that's going to be brought back up. So, Gardner-Johnson stand on business. I was listening to Shannon Sharp on ESPN First Take the other day, I think it was Tuesday, when he was saying that Philadelphia thought they could do better than Gardner-Johnson, and that's one of the reasons they secondary fell apart. When you got a guy that can play every secondary position, he can play the nickel, he can play outside, he can play safety. I mean, those are the type of utility guys you look for. That create depth. You know what I'm saying? Those are the type of utility guys you look for. You know, Hightie is one of the reasons that he was kept on the team. He got signed. I mean, he could play inside. He could play right tackle, inside and tackle. Graham Glasgow, one of the reasons a lot of people hated to see him go and glad to see him come back from Denver. I mean, he could play, you know, obviously he played at Michigan, but he could play guard and he could play center. So those type of guys have value, especially those type of guys that's got a championship experience. You know, they got a mouthpiece. And, you know, Gardner-Johnson was good coming out of Florida, man. He was one of the guys I was wondering why he fell so late in the draft. And maybe because it's his personality. They don't like brash, they don't like confident. But to be honest, that's something that the Lions was lacking under Matthew Stafford. You know, Sue quiet guy, Calvin quiet guy, Matthew Stafford, you know. You need those rah-rah guys. You need those guys that's borderline insane or borderline crazy. You need guys that's going to talk shit. You know, you think the Pistons would have came back and beat Indiana if Rasheed Wallace just say, I guarantee we going to win game 2, I think it was. You know, and Tayshaun Prince had his back. You need those guys that's going to talk shit. Sometimes it could be a detriment like Dylan Brooks. You know, but I think Dylan Brooks from the played in Memphis and Houston now with the Rockets, and Gardner-Johnson is 2 different caliber of players. You need those guys that's going to talk shit. You need those guys. And that's why Draymond is also important in Golden State when they was clicking on all cylinders. A guy that's in your ear hyping you up. A guy like, come on, man. We bull jobbing, man. Let's go ahead and run these guys off the floor. You need a mouthpiece. You know, in all facets of life, whatever you do, for the most part, you need a mouthpiece. It's the passer's, you know, greatest weapon. A mouthpiece. What's a player's greatest weapon? His mouthpiece. What's a salesman's greatest weapon? A guy that sells shit, a salesman, greatest thing, his mouthpiece. When you go to an interview, what's the best thing you can do? Your mouthpiece. A lot of people, when they backs against the wall, that's the best thing they can do. They can talk their way out of a situation, they mouthpiece. You know what I'm saying? So you need that to be a part of your organization. You can't have 60 to 70 choir boys. You need a little bit crazy in there. You know, you need a couple hard asses in there. You need a couple assholes in there. You need a couple choir guys in there to even it all out. You need some religious guys in there. You know, you need some guys that just don't, reckless guys that just don't care. So, but yeah, you know, Baker don't need no more fuel. You know, every game he win in the playoffs is an extra $250,000 in his pocket. So, and no telling what his NFC championship and his Super Bowl bonus is. Ain't no telling. So, I'm a Baker Mayfield fan, and I know he live for comments like that. But then again, comments like that is what get Gardner-Johnson going and probably gonna turn that defense and his team up, special teams and offense. So check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And the subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live or drop video. Financially, want to support the channel? Cash App, $CJ Good 313. Venmo CJ Good 313. PayPal link in the description. Appreciate the love and support. Peace.